You're with me, Tabby Kamangala. First, the headlines. Ombudsman Martha Chizuma tops interviews for the position of Anti-Corruption Bureau Director. Human Rights Defenders Coalition calls for refunds in the plundered 6.2 billion COVID finances. And government orders all asylum seekers and refugees living outside Dzaleka refugee camp to return within the next 14 days. We also have the latest in international news. Please do stay with us. Ombudsman Martha Chizuma has emerged top after undergoing strenuous interviews for the position of Anti-Corruption Bureau Director. Chizuma nailed the interviews, beating 9 males for the competitive role. According to scores that Times has seen, Justice Anthony Kamanga, retired, came second, while Wellington Kazembe came third. Steve Dakalira has more in this report, read by Eric Msikiti.
When contacted, Chizuma said she had not yet received communication, but noted that if it is true, then it will be subject to confirmation by the President and the Public Appointments Committee of Parliament, PAC. President Lazarus Chakwera is supposed to endorse and submit the successful name to Parliament for confirmation. After graduating from Chancellor College, Chizuma joined the judiciary as a senior resident magistrate based in Mzuzu. After 9 years with the judiciary, Chizuma switched to the private sector and joined Limberleaf Tobacco Company as the company's legal counsel. Human Rights Defenders Coalition chairperson Gifty Trapens has since expressed satisfaction with Chizuma's success. If confirmed, Chizuma will be the first woman to hold the office. She has made historical and fundamental contributions to administrative justice in Malawi, according to Trapens.
Human Rights Defenders Coalition has asked the government to ensure all those involved in plundering the 6.2 billion COVID finances refund the money. The coalition has threatened mass protests if there are no refunds in the next 7 days. Rebecca Chimjeka has more in this report, read by Blessings Mbinganjira.
The call comes as the forensic audit report by the mobilized Malawians to hold mass demonstrations across the country on April 29, 2021, if their demands are not met.
We are calling for the arrests of those suspects within the next 7 days, failing which, on the 29th of April, HRDC is going to mobilize Malawians to go to the streets to demand the refund of the money that was stolen.
HRDC member Bile Mayaya says the president owes the nation an explanation on the emerging issues surrounding procurement in the office of the president and cabinet and how these would be addressed. HRDC also wonders why the Malawi Police Service and Malawi Defense Force, despite receiving substantial amounts from the COVID-19 funds, are missing from the audit report.
Meanwhile, Minister of Information Gospel Kazako said the audit was not initiated by the HRDC but the government. He says it is unfair for HRDC to push the government. Kazako says the government has already interdicted some of the civil servants who were implicated in the plunder of the COVID money. Vice President Saulos Chilima has challenged Malawians to embrace decentralization for improved service delivery. Chilima was speaking when he launched the Governance to Enable Service Delivery project in Lilongwe on Friday. The project is worth $100 million. Here is part of Chilima's speech.
I am extremely pleased to learn that this project has been carefully and strategically designed to address some of the challenges that have derailed the country's decentralization drive. And to echo the words of others, the decentralization discourse is settled, and we all have to move forward in earnest. And as I've said elsewhere, 23 years after the decision to decentralize was made, there should not be any resistance whatsoever for personal or whatever other gains. We must be a country that is able to make decisions, implement, and move on. I therefore look at the JESID project as a major milestone in our drive to deepen the decentralization agenda, local governance, as well as sustainable development, the existence of vibrant, active, and democratic local government authorities, which is very important in safeguarding and strengthening the principles of democracy and good local governance.
Government has ordered all asylum seekers and refugees living outside Dzaleka refugee camp to return the camp within the next 14 days. Homeland Security Minister Richard Chimwendo Banda has told journalists in Lilongwe the order is consistent with the encampment policy. The policy provides that all refugees and asylum seekers must live or ply their trade within the camp premises. Bridget Mpinganjira reports from Lilongwe.
The minister says research has discovered that over 2,000 refugees are illegally residing and doing businesses in rural communities. He says the repatriation exercise will be jointly handled by the Malawi Police Service and Department of Immigration.
We have given them notifications to ask them to return to the camp according to the law, and we are working hand in hand with all departments, including UNHCR, just to make sure that there's a peaceful transition and that they understand what is happening. So it was sensitizing them and giving them notifications, and all the notifications were varying from the day of issuance, that we should be able to have everybody back to the camp on 28th April of this month.
On the other hand, Inspector General of Police George Kainja has warned the defiant asylum seekers and the community against violence during the exercise. This comes following outcries by small-scale business operators who have been pressing the government.
This report read by Audrey Kapalamula.
According to Kalimbila, the state failed to make a case on Chisale. The former bodyguard was accused of shooting Sigere Aman at Chimwankunda in Blantyre last year. Chisale, through his lawyer Chance Gondwe, says he is satisfied with the ruling and has indicated that he will commence court proceedings to demand for compensation from the state. Chisale was arrested in July last year.
Lilongwe, Malawi's capital city, is home to over 1 million residents. The tons of waste produced every day in the city is collected and dumped at one site within the city. In our special report, Matthews Cassandra highlights the health risks the dump site poses to communities around it.
Countless stories, both sad and somehow life-saving, can be told about the city's dump site located near Bunda Tenof in DA Tabango. Hundreds of people, young and old, flock to the site every day to scavenge and fish out food and other items for sale and home use. According to the residents surrounding the area, the dump site was introduced in 1992. By then, they say it was well managed. Years down the memory lane, the story has changed. About 14 villages surrounding the site have become victims in several ways due to the dump site, which lies on top land, while the residents occupy a lower part of the township. The strong stench, attracting all types of flies, welcomes every person who uses the road that stretches from M1 road before it splits to the villages past the dump site. Some roads are sometimes blocked by the garbage. The daytime crew visited the villages. One of the roads leading to the villages was unpassable. The residents say during rainfall season, some of the garbage are washed away, flowing through crop fields and villages before ending up in streams and rivers. Trail of waste could be witnessed by the Times crew. Some of the water from the dump site is trapped in the swamps within villages. Village headman Biliati says the villages have few boreholes, forcing many villagers to draw water from streams for domestic use, which includes drinking.
The water flows from the dumping site to the communities. Water from the site gets into the water sources that we rely on. We have few boreholes. Most people drink from the streams.
Water from our streams is green in color. When one is washing clothes and do not cleanse properly, the clothes carry the smell similar to that at the dumping site. The same water sometimes changes from green to blue. We have water challenges here because water coming from the dumping sites stinks, and when we step in them, we sometimes develop sores.
Senior group headman Chikungu expresses worry on behalf of his subjects.
When they are pushing the garbage, the water from the waste flows to the villages and contaminates the 4 rivers that we have. Our challenge is to get clean water.
Materials, because they are not segregated, and they will get those things downstream to where you have the community also, using water that is also affected by the effluents that are coming from the dump site itself. So in that aspect, the people that are downstream would not be able to realize that the water is polluted, because there might be heavy metals there.
Lilongwe City Council spokesperson Tamara Chafunya, however, says the council has 37 hectares of land in the area, part of which has been encroached by the communities. She says so far the council has only used about 8 hectares, but there are issues of land ownership which are being handled by the council. She has therefore said it is impossible for the council to run out of land and start expanding the dump site into people's fields. Currently, people from 14 villages surrounding the dump site, some of whom the city says have encroached its land, are victims of the dump site.
Cotton production has decreased in Malawi. This and many other stories after this break.
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate. 1, wake up, wake up. 2, brush up, brush up. 3, smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate and give yourself a future to smile about. If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Define your surroundings with the color of your choice. Make it warm, creative, friendly, and vibrant. Coat textures, durable color options, with up to 1,200 color shades to choose from. Be it economy range or premium range paints, innovative paint and color technology in every drop. Available in Blantyre, Build Africa, and Limby Corner Mart Building, and in Lilongwe along M12 Road, close to Gateway Mall. Tropical Paints, your world in color.
Welcome back. Cotton production has reduced by 62% this year. The Cotton Council of Malawi has disclosed. The council's executive director, Cosmas Luanda, said this on Friday at a news conference in Lilongwe. Wezi Gausi has the details in this report.
Last year, the minimum price was set at 385 kwacha, but due to the outbreak of COVID-19, the price reduced to about 340 kwacha, which meant a loss to the farmers. Hence, many of them did not grow the crop this year. Luanda says farmers only managed to get 20 out of 50 metric tons of cotton seed, which the council had for them because they were disappointed with low prices. The minimum price for seed cotton for 2021 marketing season is 320 kwacha per kilogram, of which 20 kwacha is farmer contribution to Cotton Development Fund.
Last year we had difficulties because the cotton industry was completely shut down due to restrictions to prevent the further spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. But now you find that industry is
There is an increase in production of locally made products in the country. Minister of Trade Sostin Gwengwe has observed. Gwengwe said this when he toured two Lilongwe-based local companies on Thursday. Blessings Mpinganjira reports.
During the tour at Greenbelt, Gwengwe noted that most of the vegetables in Malawi supermarkets are imported from South Africa, and in terms of import substitution, the project is likely to assist Malawi in saving the much needed foreign exchange. The minister says government is enhancing its agenda of improving agriculture productivity and food security while transforming Malawi into an export nation.
We need to improve our productive capacity so that we do not import even the basics like tomatoes from outside. So our colleagues here, they are doing a very, very good job, and we are hoping that at full capacity we should be able to stop completely from importing any of these veggies and fruits from our neighboring countries.
Farm manager at the company, Ofa Kahani, says they have secured business deals with different supermarkets in Zambia, Tanzania, and Mozambique.
It will be full capacity. We can reach about 2,500 tons per year. And in Malawi, actually, you can grow all year round, so you just can divide it. So we are talking about per month about 40-50 tons, meaning about 10-20 tons per week.
The minister also paid a visit at Hilwa General Dealers, a local detergent soap manufacturing company in Lilongwe, which started operating in November 2020.
Stakeholders in the agriculture sector have called for sound policies to maximize exports in groundnuts and maize commodities. Findings of a survey by Malawi Priorities Project through the National Planning Commission indicate that Malawi could earn 61 billion kwacha from maize exports every year if a ban on maize exports was lifted. The findings released in Lilongwe on Thursday also shows that improving quality control standards and regulations for ground nuts would make Malawi earn 6.3 billion kwacha in annual exports. Audrey Kapalamola has more in this report.
During a panel discussion that the National Planning Commission organized, Head of Operations at Auction Holdings Limited Group PLC, Davis Manyenje, said there is need to create formal export channels for the commodities to ensure that producers are given conducive environment. Manyenje said a study that was done 4 years ago indicated that the country loses about $490 million in informal exports of legume commodities such as groundnuts, soya, cowpeas and pigeon peas.
Much of the production that we are getting in Malawi is still going out of the countries, albeit informally. We need now to structure the export of the product formally so that we can realize the forex, bring it back so that it supports importation of chemicals as well as fertilizers that we need for the production.
Chief Executive Officer for Agri-Commodity Exchange Africa, Christian Mora, said it is critical to ensure that good trade policies and procurement are in place to attract more investors in the value chain.
With those in place and the work that National Planning Commission is doing through the research and the policy dialogue, we're quite optimistic now that the pieces of the puzzles are going to come together now, and then you will see more investment in the value chain.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Trade, Christina Chatima, said Malawi needs to take advantage of the regional markets. She also appealed to the private sector to support the government in its efforts to enhance production capacity. Director General of National Planning Commission, Thomas Montari, said diversification of the agriculture sector through maize and groundnuts will lead to inclusive wealth creation as envisioned in the Agenda 2063.
In other news, Mzuzu University has signed an agreement with St. John's Institute for Health. The agreement will see the two institutions sharing expertise in training nurses. The Memorandum of Understanding will be reviewed annually to fill existing gaps. Sam Kalimira reports from Mzuzu.
Speaking after the signing ceremony that was held at the Mzuzu University campus, Mzoni Vice Chancellor John Kalengasaga said the agreement will not only help the two institutions but also students because they will be professionally trained with modern technologies. Saga also said the Memorandum of Understanding will also help the two institutions raise their annual intakes because it will be easier for the institutions to be sharing experiences, expertise, knowledge and research for the benefit of students.
If indeed their academic board says we recommend this to Mzuzu University Senate, then all of us are happy and the students will have indeed acquired appropriate knowledge, attitude and skills required to support the health sector.
Commenting on the agreement, St. John's Institute for Health Deputy Principal Chris Hussein said they have been training nurses but were not registered. She said the Memorandum of Understanding will help them get accreditation from Nurses Councils for their program.
This Memorandum of Understanding, it is part of our accreditation process. We are supposed to be accredited by Nurses and Midwife Council of Malawi. So for us to meet such requirements, for us to start training, training nurses at that level, we are supposed to be accredited by Nurses and Midwives Council. So without this Memorandum of Understanding, it was not going to be possible.
According to authorities at St. John's Institute for Health, Nurses Council was waiting for the Memorandum of Understanding for the accreditation, adding they may start the program by June this year. St. John's Institute for Health is under Mzuzu Diocese of Catholic Church.
That's the news for now, but before we go, the headlines again. Ombudsman Martha Chizuma tops interviews for the position of Anti-Corruption Bureau Director. Human Rights Defenders Coalition calls for refunds in the plundered 6.2 billion kwacha COVID finances. And government orders all asylum seekers and refugees living outside Dzaleka refugee camp to return within the next 14 days. You've been with me, Tabby Kamangala. You can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website at www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page at Times 360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Please stay safe.
(2021 to 2022)